a good friend of the show, Taylor Swift.
All right.
First thing is she had to cancel their show scheduled Vienna, Austria tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. They canceled them 3 shows because of terrorist threats.
Wasn't there someone that was going to go to the concert and they think they were trying to kill her?
What's come out on this is I kind of get the feeling that they're holding stuff back.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the TomCast. I'm the Tominator, Tom Chiricello. Today is Thursday, August 8th, 2024. Hello, Morgan.
Hello, Tom.
Welcome once again.
Thank you.
You know, I always remember August 8th because I dated a girl whose birthday was August 8th.
Oh, yeah.
So like, from a million years ago.
You must have really liked her to remember that birthday.
I liked her, but she got mad at me. But
What'd you do?
she said I vandalized her girlfriend's car, which I would never do. To this day, a million years ago, I'm I did not vandalize your girlfriend's car. I would never do that.
That's a weird
But I
accusation.
still remember her because her birthday was August 8th.
All right.
But we got some shout outs today. First of all, the USA Olympic team. The Olympics are going on, as we all know, in Paris, France. The gold medal count right now, USA leads with 27. China is second with 26.
Wow.
The overall medal count, USA 95, China with 67. For those who don't follow the Olympics, if you win an event, you get a gold medal. Mm-hmm. If you're second, you get a silver medal. And if you're third, you get a bronze medal. So the USA is well in front in the medal count.
So is that how, is there a main winner at the end based on how many gold medals every country got? And it's kind of if the U.S. ends with 30 and they're the highest, they are the main winner?
You don't get anything extra for that, but
people count it.
You want to win the most.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure. Cool. How much left is there to go?
I think they got it might be the end of next week.
Okay.
The basketball, the men's and women, we're favored. USA is favored in both men's and women's basketball. I think they're up to the semifinals in that.
Mm-hmm. What's going on with the boxer, the trans boxer?
I don't know about that.
I asked a couple weeks ago if they were allowing
I think they denied
trans
that,
people in, and you said no, and then all of a sudden someone slipped in there. So you gave a false fact on the podcast, Tom.
I'm sorry, I slacking off, but I was watching women's ping pong last night, and Germany had this super hot, tall, blonde, left-handed ping pong, women's ping pong.
Yeah.
I'm what does my life come to? We're watching women's ping pong, but the chick was hot.
Yeah.
German blonde, I don't even know her name.
She's got to stay fit.
Shout out to the left-handed German blonde ping pong player. She's invited to Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, God.
All right, next shout out. We had tropical storm / hurricane Debbie hit Florida, then went into Georgia. Now it's in South Carolina. It's moving up the east coast of the U.S. It kind of did affect the Tominator Summer Jam party on Saturday.
We moved it into the apartment, though. It was fun.
We moved it inside. It was good.
Yeah.
But my main concern is the people that were affected by it. Major flooding in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. A lot of people lost their homes or their cars.
There was a lot of cars that got stuck in the middle of the road because the flooding was just so high up.
I mean, you see these cars are underwater. Mm-hmm. And I was at a mall here. We come to you from Sarasota, Florida. I was at a mall last night for Wednesday night trivia.
Yeah.
And we didn't win. We made it all in the last question and we lost.
Yeah.
But there were a ton of responders parked in the mall parking lot. I guess a lot of people are still out of their homes and lost their cars. So
if your car completely floods, is that basically it's totaled?
It's totaled, yeah.
But
doesn't
if you
even have to go totally underwater
to become totaled from a little flood.
Usually most insurance companies, if your car gets over the seats, it's all over.
Right. But so if you have insurance, though, they don't just give you a new car.
No, they pay the value of your car.
Okay.
And that's one area where Tominatorlaw.com, we can make sure that you get the maximum value that you're entitled to for your car. Because insurance companies, they have things that they do. They may not pay as much as they should if your car. So even if your car's totaled, I might be able to help you.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have property damage, we can help you with that. Flood damage. A lot of people carry flood insurance underwritten by the federal government. We can help you with those claims to make sure. I'm not trying to promote my business, but whether people hire me or another lawyer or what they call a public adjuster, you need a professional.
Yeah.
The insurance companies or whoever it is that's paying your claim is not necessarily out for you.
So are you pro insurance? Like right now I'm looking at renewing my homeowner's insurance and it's $5,800 and I'm like, are you kidding me? When I got the place 2 years ago, it was $3,700. Then it went up to $4,400. Now it's $5,800. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. When do the increases stop? Two, I've never needed it in the last 2 years. But then I'm thinking, well, if this is the year I don't renew it and something happens, I'm gonna be kicking myself.
I may be the only plaintiff attorney that feels that the increases are to some degree valid because inflation.
Yeah.
So like what it cost to put a roof on a house 5 years ago, it's like double now.
But so how are they factoring in inflation for my place when there's never been anything that's happened to it? $3,700 to $5,800 in 2 years is, to me, like, that's crazy.
Well, even though you didn't make a claim,
Yeah.
they have to account for the other people that did.
In
and,
my neighborhood.
And also weather events have gone up, which some people argue, global warming, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that, but...
Well, it's like increased risk. Like the more storms there are in the last year, they
correct.
think they need to increase the price.
But weather events are funny. Like they might get, one a year for 5 years in a row, then not get one for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, but I think most people would agree that, homeowners insurance prices need to increase. And it's just a cost of owning a home. A lot of people I know who own their properties and don't have a mortgage, they self-insure.
Yeah.
They just say, I'll take that risk.
Well, that just means not insured.
Correct.
Right. Self-insured.
So,
like you just didn't get insurance. Let's stop trying to act like it's fancy.
So if something happens to you, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on your financial situation.
Yeah. It's just, I was sticker shocked.
But it's going up. But I don't begrudge insurance companies charging what they need to charge. What I begrudge them is what I see is, okay, fine, charge what you need to charge, but when a person has a legitimate claim, pay it. Mm-hmm. And quite often, unfortunately, I see that. In my opinion, that's not always the case. They try to deny it or short pay it. Just pay what you owe. Charge what you need to charge and pay what you owe. That's my feeling on that. But a lot of times I feel they try to trick the customer to try to lead them to tell them something which would make the claim not being covered, almost like a little bit unethical. I was trained a million years ago when I worked for insurance companies is they taught me, look, pay what we owe, not a penny more, but not a penny less. And I don't think that's the case today. I think insurance companies are trying to get out of paying. And as an industry, like they could cry all they want. They're making tons of money. Read the financial reports. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Oh, they cried, this was a bad year, so we only made $4 billion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, enough about insurance, but we really, we're with, our prayers are with the victims of Tropical Storm Hurricane Debbie. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything we can do, Tominatorlaw.com. Mm-hmm. All right, next follow-up is a good friend of the show, Taylor Swift.
All right.
So Taylor's just finishing up the European leg of her Eras tour, which has gone on, seems like forever. Mm-hmm. The first thing is she had to cancel their show scheduled Vienna, Austria tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. They canceled them 3 shows because of terrorist threats.
Wasn't there someone that was going to go to the concert and they think they were trying to kill her?
Well, I don't know if they were trying to kill her, but
I read it was her.
What's come out on this is I kind of get the feeling that they're holding stuff back.
Yeah.
But whatever, they canceled shows due to some kind of, apparently the terrorists were like young guys, like 19, 17, and 15. And like,
it's crazy.
Terrorism goes back like a long way in this world of ours. Obviously, everybody remembers 9/11, 2001, but the thing about it is, I understand people have their positions, their political positions or what have you, But what's the point of Taylor Swift is just innocent people having fun. And whether you love or hate Taylor Swift, she seems like a great person.
Well, so here's the thing. Was it they were targeting Taylor or they were targeting a large event where there was a lot of people to blow up? You
My
know what I'm
understanding
saying?
is they were targeting a large event.
Yeah. So they just were using her event because that was the one that was up and coming. But can you imagine if Taylor Swift was assassinated? I think that'd be worse than Trump. I'm serious. She has so many like intense fans. Like that would break the world. Like way worse than Trump's earshot.
Well, I mean, whatever you think of Trump, he's 78 years old. He's a multi-billionaire. He lives a great life. But
she's young. She hasn't had kids yet. She's probably getting married soon. Like, it would be so tragic.
Hey, by the way, the rumor is that secretly engaged. Did you hear that?
Oh, no, I didn't. Maybe it's a shotgun wedding. She's pregnant.
I don't know about that. No baby bump and no shows. But
yeah, that is crazy, though.
That pisses me off, though. Like, whether you love or hate Taylor Swift, these people love these shows.
Yeah.
What is this world like? I don't sound like an old man, but the world was seemed to me so much better when I was a kid.
We have so much hate and we have no morals anymore.
We have so much hate and crazy. And I think there were always crazy people going back to the beginning of time.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's worse now.
There's more. I don't know why.
Like, what is it these 19-year-olds want to blow up a Taylor Swift concert?
Social media. Like, it just puts bad shit in your brain all day, every day in ways that, like, you weren't consuming that type of information before, you know? Like, there used to be that Netflix documentary about the guy that was killing cats, and he was literally killing cats and posting it on YouTube, and people were watching it. You know, like, that stuff didn't happen back in the day. Like, you couldn't watch someone murdering a kitten. Now there's just weird shit everywhere.
And these people were so psyched to go to this. They got tickets.
Yeah.
And now they can't go.
I'd be so
it's
upset.
Like,
but how'd they even find out before the concert started there was someone with explosives trying to get to her? You know what I mean? Like, how
my feeling and my opinion
there's
is
more to it for sure.
I think there's more that they haven't released. Like, I think they know more than that you can read in the papers or on the internet. Mm-hmm. But the next leg of the tour, she's coming back to the U.S. in Miami, October 18th, 19th, and 20th. And unfortunately, I wanted to go to one of those shows, but I have another engagement that weekend.
My wedding, you can't cancel. You're busy all 3 days.
I'm busy all 3 days. I will not be there. The one I would like to go to is, I used to live in the New Orleans area, is October 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Is that a weekend?
Yep. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I could swing that.
At the Caesars Superdome.
Okay.
That's a huge...
I've never been there. I would go.
It's cool as heck. But I went online just for the hell of it. The tickets are like... I mean, like a cheap seat's like $3,000.
Jeez.
And like, I guess... I never thought of myself as rich. But like statistically, I guess like, with the average person, whatever they're worth, I guess I don't see that, but I probably am rich.
Tom is rich.
But I'm like, what the fuck? Am I going to pay $4,000? And it's not going to just be me.
Maybe it can be
friends.
like a work trip. So then you can kind of like expense that or do it as a write-off because we're going to be bonding work trip. You know what I mean? Like, I think it makes sense.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes when you get closer to the event, the prices come down.
Yeah. I would totally go last minute.
So... And then she's going to Indianapolis the weekend after that.
Yeah,
November 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Who wants to go to Indiana?
Hey, nothing against Indiana.
I know, I'm from the Midwest too, but come on, I'd rather do New Orleans.
So I feel bad for those folks in Vienna, Austria that don't get to see Taylor Swift.
Did they get refunds?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Taylor's okay, and we hope that there's a big announcement coming soon.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, beware that big engagement. How big will that ring be?
Oh my God, her ring will be like falling off. Like her hand will be heavy.
She's not. Well, she is a big girl. She's tall.
But she also doesn't seem like someone that's super flashy.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I bet she'll have a nice ring, but I don't think it's going to be like a $2 million diamond. I bet she'll be a little bit more conservative. She seems more of like just a nice girl.
We're a big Taylor Swift fan. Shout out to Taylor again. She has the open invite. I know you can't be going on Travis's podcast because that's like conflict of interest. You need to come on this podcast.
Yes.
We'll give you airfare, hotel, and Hooters.
Taylor and Tom.
TNT. Dynamite. All right, our next topic. Kamala. Is it? It's pronounced
Kamala.
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 Like
I've never known.
It's not Kamala, it's Kamala.
Kamala, like a comma.
She announced her vice presidential candidate is the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. That's W-A-L-Z.
Okay.
Read his bio. Like,
What do we know about him?
he was born in Nebraska, working class family. He graduated high school in 1982. He took a job in a factory, like out of high school. And then he joined the National Guard. He was in the National Guard for 24 years. Then he went to, he didn't go to college like right away. He went to some small college in Nebraska, Chadron State, graduated in 89, became a teacher, like a school teacher.
Okay.
He got arrested for DUI in 1995.
Oh.
And he's never had a drink again.
Wow.
So,
that must have made an impact on him. Yeah.
That's really
kind of cool.
I don't like that. Now they're bringing up the DUI. It's like, and I don't like when both sides get political, but they're like, well, he's doing like 95 miles an hour or something when the cops pulled him.
What was he, 20 when this happened?
95. So he would have been like maybe 31.
Okay.
And he's saying they're saying he didn't know that it was the cops. He thought somebody was chasing him. That's what. No, I think people respect you when you're honest.
Well, or he was either, I'll give him this, he was either so hammered when he was driving, which also isn't good, that he had no idea it was the cops because he was wasted, or you're a fucking liar and you knew it was the cops and you're making up the dumbest lie you could have ever told.
So, like, I don't think his BAC was that high. Like, he wasn't like...
Then he knew.
He was only slightly over the limit.
Yeah. I didn't know. I thought a random person was chasing me.
And then he went to, got a master's from Minnesota State University. Yeah. So, part of me, and then he ran for Congress in 2006, and then he became governor of Minnesota in 2018. So some things, I think a lot of politicians are like, they're elite. They were born rich. Mm-hmm. A lot, not all of them. Obama, I don't think, was not. Clinton was not.
Yeah.
But going through historically, a lot of them were like elites, and they had all the advantages, and went to top schools. He was a working class guy. His father, I think, was a teacher. He worked in a factory, National Guard, small college, became a teacher, went to graduate school. So, like, I kind of like that about the guy, but he's pretty liberal, like his positions. Like,
yeah, what are his core beliefs with all this stuff?
One thing I'm not crazy about is, even though he was a teacher for 20 years and a coach, he's against merit pay for teachers.
What's that
and like, I want to say this: I have all the respect in the world for teachers. Mm-hmm. It is a tough job. And now schools today, kids got knives and guns and crap and drugs, and you can't touch a kid or even go near a kid. They'll fire you or discipline you. So I give a shout out to all our teachers. And I look back at my life, and some teachers really molded me. And there have been so many people that I owe success in my life to that, guided me or helped me. And but I don't know. The thing with the merit pay, like, I think that's a good thing. Like, teachers, I think government jobs, like, a lot of them are not held accountable.
What is merit pay? You need to explain this.
Like, in other words, like, if you're a teacher, if your kids that you teach get better grades, you're rewarded for that.
Oh.
Like, they're not really held accountable.
You get more, like, almost like a higher salary if your kids grade better? What if you just are lucky and you get a smart group of kids and then you're the one that gets the dumb kids? I'd be pissed.
That's one of the arguments.
There are some people, like, there's different levels of intelligence.
Or they should measure some people argue that there's no measure of success. Like, you show up and teach the kids and you get the same pay.
That is tough. I don't know how it should. It should just be on, like, years of experience. But there are some shitty teachers out there, but then they should just fire them. But then don't they have the tenure thing with teachers too, where it's like once you hit a certain amount of time, you can't get fired? What about that? I don't agree
they have
with
a
that.
strong union. Like, some people are against that. Like, the teachers union is one of the strongest.
But isn't that...
But they'll argue, hey, we're not getting paid a lot of money. Give us our friggin' retirement.
Yeah.
Give us our summer off. Give us our medical benefits and this and that, because, we're getting screwed. They don't make big money.
Yeah, they don't. I do think teachers in general should be paid more. I mean, they're teaching our kids. Like, they're shaping who our children are going to be in the future. But to give them more benefits based on how the students grade, that just doesn't make sense. Like, all kids have different levels of intelligence. That just is completely unfair.
I was watching, this has nothing to do with teachers. I was watching, you ever watch Law and Order? Mm-hmm. It's been on for a million years.
Yeah, forever.
I'm obsessed with that. I've seen every episode 20 times. And there was this episode where they were investigating a guy, the cops. He was an accountant for the city of New York. And so they go to talk to his supervisor, the cops. And they're like, well, was he good at his, was he good at his job or something? The supervisor goes, he was accountant for the city of New York. He was competent, like basically saying, hey, the guy these government jobs, you show up and do your work, and you get paid the same. Like there's no accountability,
right?
And that's what some people argue with teachers and other government jobs is like, if you just show up, there should be some accountability. If you don't do a good job, you either get less money or get fired.
Yeah. I guess it's just hard. Like, how do you measure that? And to measure it by the grades, it's like I said, you get a group of dumb kids.
That's the problem. It's hard to measure. But a lot of people argue what's wrong is like a police officer or a teacher gets paid whatever they get. But yet, if you can throw a baseball 100 miles an hour, you get $5 million a year. Like there's something out of whack.
You can't compare it with sports. Like you can't really compare it with different types of jobs like that.
But a lot of people argue that like pay in this country is out of whack.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely is out of whack. But I don't know. I just more so disagree with the tenure. They hit a certain mark, you can't fire them. It's like, well, now why would you try?
I don't know that you can't fire them.
That's
I think
thing,
it's just
for sure.
It limits it.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is, we talked about this on a prior episode, is like, and it even happened when I was in school, but like these teachers have a relationship with students.
Yeah, that does happen a lot. Well, it's called pedophilia. Let's start with that, and it is disgusting.
And a lot of times that I see in the news, the teacher's hot. And I'm like, what are you doing? You can get a date with any guy you want. You want to bang a 14-year-old. I mean,
but the men do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you go. It's double standard over here. You're just horrified by the female doing it. Oh, how dare she sleep with a 14-year-old boy? But then, like, it's majority men that are sleeping with these young teenage girls. Let's be real. Pull the stats.
The girl I went to high school with in my graduating class, a year after, she married the music teacher of the school.
Oh, damn. A year after?
I think it was like a year.
Yeah.
So you think they just met? They just accidentally met? Like, you telling me they weren't together during school?
God, but it's like, when is that even happening? Like, you just really shouldn't have teachers alone with students when you're opposite sex. I think that's just what it should be. Solve the problem. You know what I mean? If you're having, like, a tutoring session, just have someone else in the room. It's an easy solution.
So getting back to Tim Walz, the vice presidential candidate, his record as governor of Minnesota's like if you look at like the economy and things like that, it's a decent state, but I don't know. He's pretty far out there. Like he's pretty far left in a lot of his positions, but he does seem like a good guy. I like that he's a working class guy, and no one gave him anything. He was in the National Guard for 24 years. Now, I got all the respect in the world for National Guard. But a lot of people back in the day, they joined the National Guard because they didn't want to go in the regular army.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to Vietnam? Join the National Guard.
So what do you do in the National Guard?
Well, like if there's like a hurricane somewhere, or maybe public unrest, riots, believe it or not, there was a time in this country in the 1960s, there'd be riots in the streets. Like, if you ever heard, listen to the Rolling Stones, great song, 1969, Street Fighting Man. Like New Jersey riots, Detroit riots. I mean, it's hard for us to imagine today that you go out and there's riots in the streets, mostly racial.
Well, I feel like we did definitely have that during COVID.
So, like, a lot of people join the National Guard to avoid, going to Vietnam, and then later the Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan.
So they basically focus locally on stuff that happens here.
I have a buddy, his sister joined the National Guard, and like she got a pension. She gets a pension from them. So then she was in, and it's like do nothing, work half the time.
Right.
And then they call her to go to the Middle East, and then she had back problems and couldn't go.
I mean, that's
and like that pisses me off. Like, I mean, if you want to get the benefits of joining, so they said he resigned to run for Congress, like a couple months before his unit got called to go to the Middle East. Huh. So I don't know, but like. You don't want to join the military. Don't join the military. There's no draft now. I mean, when I was 18, I had to register for the draft, but they're not drafting people into the military right now.
Yeah.
But like, I get pissed when people get the benefit of being in the military,
but you didn't do anything,
but really didn't serve. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It should be only if you.
And
did serve.
I'm the most supportive of our military of any guy that you'll ever know.
Yeah.
Even though I'd never been in the military, I never served. I mean, these guys need to get every benefit they're entitled to.
Yes.
I just get pissed when guys join, go 1 weekend a month somewhere, get all these retirement benefits. Then when it comes time to fight, they're like, I can't go.
Yeah, those specific people shouldn't get the benefits. I agree.
And I don't know for a fact if Tim Walz, bailed out of that to run for Congress. But it does seem convenient that shortly before his unit got called up, he quits and runs for Congress.
Yeah.
Today's 8/8, like I mentioned. This date in 1974, Richard M. Nixon was the only president ever to resign the presidency. And you probably never heard of Watergate, the Watergate scandal.
I've heard of it. I think there was a movie on it, actually.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movies on it. So Nixon was first elected. Very interesting character. A lot of people hated him. A lot of people loved him. But he was vice president for Eisenhower from 52 to 60. Then he runs for president himself in 1960. He loses a very close election to John F. Kennedy. A lot of people say it was fixed. So people thought his career was over. Then he resurfaces and wins the presidency in 1968. 1972, he's running for re-election against George McGovern, who was a senator from South Dakota. Nixon, he ended up winning re-election. He won 49 states.
Wow. 49.
So, but when he's running for re-election, what amazes me about this whole Watergate thing is Watergate was an office building. It's still there in Washington, D.C., Office Plaza. The Democratic National Committee had their headquarters in Watergate. Nixon was a Republican, so he's going to win this election in a landslide. I mean, there was never a doubt, like, this election is close. Everybody knew Nixon could not lose re-election. So for some reason, him or his brilliant advisors decide they want to break in to Watergate and see what is in the Democrats' office. So they get caught.
Yeah, obviously.
And then it becomes a whole big thing over 2 years. And finally, he has to resign the president. There's still questions about how much Nixon tried to say he didn't know about it.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
What do you think?
It was on TV every day. It was a whole big to-do. This amazed me. How dumb were these MFs? That you're not going to lose this election. You need.
Yeah. How selfish and just stupid. What was the point?
But it was this date in 1974 that Nixon resigned the presidency. And the vice president, Gerald Ford, became president. And then 1 month later, pardoned Nixon. And he said he did it because we need to unite the country.
Yeah.
We can't be going after former presidents. But they say that cost him. Ford ran for president in 1976 and lost a very close election to Jimmy Carter. And a lot of people feel that if Ford had not pardoned Nixon, he would have won. So, but Nixon in a lot of ways was a great foreign policy president. We had great relations with the world. But that would be the stain on him, the one and only president ever to resign the presidency.
Yeah.
This date, 8/8/74, 50 years ago today.
It's crazy.
I can't believe that's 50 years ago. So enough of this negative stuff and resigning presidencies and Taylor Swift terrorist attacks. I want to talk some fun stuff. The football season is back.
Hey.
Tonight are the first two preseason games. We got Carolina at New England and Boston, or whatever city outside of Boston their stadium is. And then we got Detroit at the Giants in New Jersey at the Meadowlands.
Nice.
MetLife Stadium.
I've been there for a game. It was fun.
So Thursday Night Football, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Be there.
Where will you be?
I'll probably be at
Smoking Joe's?
some, I don't know about some, shout out to Smoking Joe's. Woo. My favorite downtown bar.
We should get them to sponsor.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to sponsor the TomCast.
Smoking Joe's Studios.
It's just Joe's on Main. That
Yeah.
we had
They
it
did
politically
change the name.
correct. There ain't no smoking anymore.
Oh, no. Just the secret. You can actually smoke what are those things called? Juuls or
Vape.
vapes. You can smoke those inside.
think
But
they
I
say-
don't suggest it.
I think they say
kill
vaping
you.
is worse, right?
It is worse. Did you watch the Juul documentary? It is horrible because people do it 24/7 a day versus when you're smoking a cigarette, you can only do that a limited amount of time.
The only Jewel I know is that singer that rumored to be dating Kevin Costner. He denies it. They deny it. You know who Jewel is? Is that before your time?
Yeah, I've heard of her, but I don't
She was
know
pretty
her.
popular back in the day.
Was she hot too? Did you?
She was hot.
Yeah.
She had the weird tooth thing. Like,
Oh.
she got it fixed finally.
Snaggletooth.
No, she had like, there was something wrong with her teeth. But she was hot, really good body, blonde, pretty face. But the teeth were like weird. And I think she got it fixed now.
All right. Interesting.
But football is back. We can't wait. That's a great, bars are all loving that.
I used to love football Sundays in New York. That was like the best day of the week.
You know what I find weird is when I've been a football fan since I was friggin' 7, but it wasn't a women's thing. Now, like, women love it too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know shit about sports, but I love to drink. So drinking during the sporting games are fun.
I know a lot of women that know football,
Yeah,
and they can't, they know what they're talking about.
for sure. Annie.
And I think Taylor Swift maybe.
Oh, she definitely knows now. I bet she didn't really know much before, but I bet she's learned the game.
So that's a positive. Football season's coming back. Now, I also decided this week, Morgan, we're going to talk about more fun stuff.
Okay.
I love movies. Like, COVID kind of hurt movies because
They couldn't
you
film.
couldn't go and everybody stayed at home. And, like, I love going to movie
Oh,
theater.
you mean going to the theater?
I love
Yeah.
getting my bucket of popcorn and my Twizzlers.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day when I was a kid, you couldn't drink in a movie. Now that they serve you alcohol, like
Cinebistro, Siesta Key.
Shout out Cinebistro, Siesta Key.
I mean, you get steak dinners at this place. Cracked open bottle of wines. Like, they have really high-end food and drinks there now. It's a good spot.
So I love going to the theater. We're going to talk about, you heard of IMDb, Internet Movie Database.
I think I've heard of it.
So we're going to talk about the 25, according to IMDb, there's a million lists of best movies of all times.
I bet
You
Rotten
could be-
Tomatoes has one, too. We should check
Rotten
that.
Tomatoes, AFI, American Film Institute. And you could be like number one on one list and not on another.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So we're going to talk about IMDb's top 25. I can't even say it.
Top 25 movies.
And we'll get your color commentary.
All right.
They rate a lot. The problem with these lists, the movies are old. Like, you probably haven't seen them.
You sent it to me. I went through the printout you gave me.
You
And
do your
I've probably
homework.
seen like 2 or 3.
The number one is Shawshank Redemption, 1994. You probably seen that, no?
No. I always thought, I'm an idiot. It sounds like a scary movie to me, so I would refuse to watch it or even learn what it was about. It's just like Shank. Like, it sounds like a murder movie.
It's so good. It's this. The main character his name's Andy Dufresne, and he's a banker, married,
Okay.
and his wife's messing around.
Oh.
And like somebody kills his wife and her lover, and he gets busted for it.
Obviously, they think it's him.
Yeah, they think it's him.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I
it's
would
not
watch
him.
this. I'll watch this.
So he goes to jail and like gets like life, and he becomes friends with Morgan Freeman. I can't remember Morgan Freeman's character's I think named Red in the movie, but they become buddies in jail, and what happens is because of his knowledge of finance.
Morgan Freeman.
Andy Dufresne
Okay.
is played by Tim Robbins, and the warden is embezzling from the jail, and so he gets Andy Dufresne to help him like hide the money
Right. Okay.
and gives him like perks. You know?
Helps him in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Andy decides to do is like steal the money from the warden and escape. So he like tunnels out of the prison.
Wasn't that a question you had during trivia? Who was on the poster?
Yeah, because what happened was, what he did is, like in jail, they would let them get like posters of famous actresses, and so because he was
going through the wall,
so he put the poster over it.
Yeah.
So the first one was Rita Hayworth, was a big actress in like the 1940s. The second was Marilyn Monroe, and the third was because he did this over 20 years.
Okay, it wasn't.
The third was Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
So, and then when he escapes and they're looking for him, he's not in the jail. The warden punches a hole in the poster and sees there's a hole in the wall.
Damn.
But he gets away. He flees to Mexico.
I'm just wondering if it says how many ratings they got. Oh, 2.9 million. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So, and then Morgan Freeman gets out on parole, and he can't handle being out because he's been in jail for like 40 years.
Right.
And then he goes to Mexico, and they reunite on a beach in Mexico, and the movie ends. But
I guess I don't need to watch the movie now.
It's a great. People get mad at me all the time for giving away movies. But
yeah, that's fine. I won't be mad at you for that one.
Number 2, one of my all-time favorites, The Godfather.
I have seen The Godfather.
Now, The Godfather is like, I compare it to Scotch. We talked about this. Do you ever drink Scotch? Ever?
I'm not a hard liquor person. High noons.
But I'm not a big, Scotch is what I call an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And like, if you got to drink it a while to get used to it and like it and enjoy it.
It's like you sip it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like something you
But
chug.
I'm not a Scotch drinker.
You're Tito's.
But The Godfather's like that because a lot of the movie, I say dark, I mean like, scenes are in the, it's
murder the whole time, right? It's like the mob.
It's a brilliant, brilliant movie, but it is an acquired taste. Number 3, they have a lot of lists. They rate this number 1 is a 1941 movie called Citizen Kane, and I'm not really into it. It's kind of based on the life of more than one person, but William Randolph Hearst was a newspaper publisher in the early part of the 20th century, and big, very wealthy guy, and I'm not really into that. I'm going to skip over Citizen Kane. I think the movie's overrated, but
right, so he doesn't agree with IMDb.
Being a lawyer is a 1957 movie, also in black and white. It was called 12 Angry Men. It's a jury. It's all men, and this young poor kid is charged with murder, and the movie begins with they don't present the evidence. The evidence has already been given. Now they go into deliberate, and they're all like, he's guilty, he's guilty. So they vote, and it's 11-1 for guilty, and one character holds out is Henry Fonda, famous actor. Every actor pretty much on the jury was famous. And he's like, how are you so sure? Can you be so sure? This is a kid's life. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And then one by one, they debate the case, and they get the jury to change their mind. They go from 11-1 guilty to not guilty.
So is that how it works for all cases? Like it just takes one person to disagree, and then they have to get to a point where they all agree?
It has to be unanimous in a criminal case. So if one disagrees, it would be what they call a hung jury. Mm-hmm. And that means
what happens?
They'd either have to try the case over with a new jury or drop it.
A new jury would come in. Okay. Yeah. Right, because it's like they can't just try to force you to change your mind for the sake of having everyone
In a
agree.
lot of cases, they say it's one crazy person holds out.
Yeah. You, as a lawyer, are you allowed to be on a jury or no?
I'm allowed to, but they probably would never let me.
Just because you're too smart or something?
No, I think it depends on the lawyers involved in the case. If I get called for jury duty, they would probably kick me right out.
Yeah.
I would love to be on a jury, though.
I know. I would love to see you in court, actually.
I'll let you know.
Or like you as a judge.
I think my next case is in New Jersey, scheduled for August 19th.
Yeah. All right.
Tominator Law, New Jersey. Shout out, TominatorLaw.com, New Jersey, Iowa, Louisiana, Florida. More states coming soon. Another movie you might have seen. You ever see Schindler's List?
I have seen Schindler's List.
Steven Spielberg directed it. Mm-hmm. It's a really good movie about like World War II Nazis and what was going on.
Very depressing.
Yeah. Another number 6 is The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. That's way before your time. Mm-hmm. 1966. Clint Eastwood plays like a bounty hunter. They made 3 movies, what they call spaghetti westerns. They were filmed in Italy. All similar plot about, like the Old West, and
I feel like every movie on this list are like serious, depressing movies. Like none of them, when I was reading through, I'm like, none of these are comedies or happy. They're all like tragic.
How about Star Wars?
Well, like, yeah, I guess that's a little bit different. I've seen Star Wars.
How about Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I've never seen it.
I liked Lord of the Rings. I mean, they're good movies, but they're long.
You know what I remember on some of them? The Dark Knight, 2008. That was Christian Bale.
Is that the... Oh, that wasn't with... What's the guy's name? Heath Ledger. Who
he played
died.
the Joker. Yeah.
He played the Joker. And then didn't they, like, have another one that came out and they, like, had old film of him or something and they used him in the movie somehow? Didn't he kill himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sad.
A lot of these movies, I remember who my date was. I took to that movie.
Who was it? Let's
Her
hear.
name was Chantal. She was a beautiful girl. I think Chantal's... I know she's married now.
Yeah, you've talked about her.
But Chantal was really cool.
Shout out to Chantal.
Yep. I miss you. The Godfather Part 2 is number 10. Like most people think that The Godfather was way better, or this list, The Godfather's number 2. The Godfather Part 2 is number 10. I actually liked Part 2 better.
Wow, that's surprising. Usually no one likes the part 2 of a movie.
It wasn't as successful, like financially, as the first one, but I think I liked it better.
Okay.
Pulp Fiction, 1994. You ever see that?
Is that the guy, he like dresses really weird, he has something on his eye and he like rapes everyone?
No, it's like about hitman,
It
John
is.
Travolta. It revived the careers of John Travolta and Bruce Willis, who were both kind of in a downturn. Uma Thurman was in it, Samuel L. Jackson. How about Fight Club? You ever see that?
Yes, loved Fight Club.
That's number 12. I think it's kind of overrated.
There's really not very many recent movies on this list, though.
No, I mean, you look at it, the recent ones, another Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Terminator 2, not to be confused with Tominator. The Matrix is 99. You ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah, that wasn't really my thing.
Nah, to me, it's too convoluted. Forrest Gump. You ever see Gump?
Yeah, I've seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Tom Hanks, he's a good
Inception, that was Chantel also.
guy. Yeah, but that one was good, but I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, I still don't really understand it. It's too
Yeah,
confusing.
it was some of these movies
I
like
watched
today.
this to not even understand
Like if I have to like think about it too much, I consider both of us intelligent people.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
as
like if
smart
I
as
have to
you.
like figure this crap out.
I'm here to enjoy, not to like use my brain and like sit here doing equations and
Yeah,
shit.
if I
Like
wanna,
just tell me
do
the ending.
calculus, what the
Yeah,
F?
give me a true end so I can feel satisfied at the end of the movie.
How about the Great and Powerful Oz, 1939?
Yes.
Scarecrow, you want the brain? I am the Great and Powerful Oz.
I think you should be in a movie. Oh my God.
You know, it was a good one. Psycho, 1960, was like a horror movie.
I don't watch horrors.
I'm not a big horror movie guy. That was Alfred Hitchcock, was a legendary director. Like some of his movies are just classic. I can recommend some of them. This was like, but it was a vicious murder scene where the guy kills a woman in the shower. That was like unheard of at that time.
Yeah, okay, it was like a
they
big
almost
deal.
didn't want to allow it to be released. Kind of,
Wow.
this guy stabbing a woman in the shower.
Right.
And then what they could show of her body, and this and
Yeah.
that. But that was like considered a classic Psycho. And they came with Psycho 2 years later. How about Raiders of the Lost Ark? You ever seen that?
Never even heard of it.
Now, I'm not into those Raiders of the Lost Ark movies.
Oh, okay.
Casablanca, 1942. That's Humphrey Bogart was a legendary actor, and Ingrid Bergman. That's a movie I would recommend. Some of these movies, like black and white, people don't like black and white movies.
I hate old movies just because, there's no CGI and it doesn't look as good. I just prefer new shit. I don't know.
Some of them, I agree with you for the most part. Like 12 Angry Men, 1957.
Well, and the acting, I feel, is just not as good. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. I just rather watch something 2000 and forward.
I recommend the Godfather movies. I recommend 12 Angry Men. I recommend...
What's your favorite movie of all time in general? Like, if you had to
We
pick.
talked about this in like one of the early episodes, I think, before you were on the show, but it's hard to say one. It's like, what's your favorite food? I mean...
Well, you could do one from each, like, topic, like comedy, horror.
There's a movie.
Love.
I'm amazed it's not on the list. 1967, a movie called The Graduate. Dustin Hoffman, Catherine Ross.
I've actually seen that.
I love that movie.
16 Candles.
And that's kind of an acquired taste.
Yeah. I loved The Goonies. That was my movie.
Chunk.
Yes, Chunk.
I remember another movie I love is 1970 called Love Story. It stars Ryan O'Neal and Ali McGraw. Like he's goes to Harvard. One of the few movies they allowed to be filmed on the Harvard campus. And she's going to Radcliffe, which was like at that time the women's division of Harvard. And she's working class. Like her father owns a bakery. He's like rich, old money guy. Both very attractive, and like they hook up. And then his father don't want him marrying her because she's working class, poor. And so the father disowns him. So he goes to law school. He graduates Harvard. He goes to law school. She has to work.
Right.
Because the father won't. He goes to the dean of law school. It's like a scholarship. And the dean's like, are you kidding me? Your father's loaded. I can't give you a scholarship. He goes, my father cut me off. And they wouldn't give him a scholarship.
Wow.
So she had to work to pay for his law school.
Wow.
So he graduates third in the class. And he goes, are you impressed? Third? That's big.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I ain't met numbers 1 and 2 yet. Classic line, like she was so beautiful in that. And then, so now he graduates, gets a job in New York. They're living in a fancy apartment. Mm-hmm. He's working for this big time law firm, and they find out she gets cancer.
Damn.
They're already have babies. She can't get pregnant, and she has cancer. And it's like, I mean, it's just a tearjerker.
Yeah, for sure.
So then the father hears about it and comes running to the hospital, and the son's
now that she's dying, he comes back?
Yeah, so like the father didn't know.
Yeah, oh, okay.
And so he's walking out of the hospital, the father's walking in, he goes, what can I do, son? He goes, her name was Jenny. He says, Jenny's dead, and then the movie ends.
Wow.
It was such a tear, which critics make fun of, even on her deathbed. She was like so beautiful, like they made her, like she looked, like the one knock on that movie is like, she's dying of cancer right now.
She looks great.
She looks great, yeah. It's like, but it was like a super popular movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie I strongly recommend. Like you get that like on YouTube or something, and even now, it still holds up, and who was his first movie ever was in that he played his roommate was Tommy Lee Jones, who became a big time actress. That was his first ever movie. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones actually really went to Harvard.
Okay, cool.
He graduated from Harvard, and that's not on the list, but it was immensely popular. So that's one of mine. The Graduate, as I mentioned, both of these like love stories. And The Graduate is Dustin Hoffman, just graduated from college. He's not really attractive, and his father is a lawyer in California. They're rich, and so they're trying to set him up with his father's law partner's daughter, played by Catherine Ross, who was beautiful. Like every guy in the world was in love with her. And she's way out of his league, but the parents have set him up, and they go out, and like he's having an affair with her mother. He doesn't really want to, but the mother seduces him, and he's like, just got out of college, what the hell?
He doesn't want to.
Well, I mean,
that's not how it works.
He does, but he just kind of.
I didn't want to have sex with her. My dick just fell in. Oops.
So she kind of knows that there's somebody, and he goes, yeah, she doesn't know it's her mother. And he goes, yeah, I was, but, she goes, are you seeing someone? He goes, I was, but it's over. So they fall in love. And even Dustin Hoffman said, no one's going to believe this, that she would be dating me, fall in love with me. And then the mother doesn't want him dating her daughter.
Well, yeah.
So she tells the daughter that he raped her.
Oh, my God.
So the daughter leaves him, and then he tries to get her back, and then now she's going to marry another guy, this really good-looking doctor guy, and like a tall blonde guy, nothing like Dustin Hoffman. So the movie ends where they're getting married. He goes to the church.
To stop the wedding?
He stops the wedding, grabs her, and takes her, runs her away, and they're all chasing after him, and they get on a bus, and she's in her wedding dress, and they get on a bus, and the movie ends.
What the hell?
It's a great movie, though.
Wild.
And they never made a sequel. I'm surprised.
Because it could have picked up, what happened after that bus ride.
And there was talk about a sequel like that, where, the mother got old and needed care, and she moves in with them, and, there was... That's a movie that they definitely could have made a sequel. That was also an immensely popular movie. Made a ton of money at the time, but Like recent movies that I like, I love Jennifer Lawrence. That was the final Jeopardy question at trivia last night.
That you lost?
I lost because they named 4 of her movies, and you had to name them in order from oldest to newest. And like, I knew the 2 oldest right off the bat. But I said to my partner, I'm like, I'm not so sure about this first 2, and we kind of went back and forth, and we got it wrong. But I love Silver Linings Playbook. You ever see that?
Yes, with is that Bradley Cooper? Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great movie. She won an Academy Award for Best Actress for that.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
So I love anything Jennifer Lawrence I like. Anything Selena Gomez I like.
We know.
You ever see Spring Breakers? It was filmed right near here.
Yeah.
In St.
It
Petersburg.
was filmed? I didn't know it was filmed here.
They have a scene on the Skyway. She's riding the bus over the Skyway.
Oh, I'm going to rewatch that. I probably watched it before I lived here, so
There's
just
so
didn't
many
realize.
places in that movie that you would, if you know St. Pete, you would recognize.
Yeah, cool.
So I recommend everybody go out to the movies, go to Cinebistro, get your big tub of popcorn, get your beer, get your Twizzlers. Love Twizzlers. Is that what's your favorite movie candy?
So usually with the popcorn, I'll get chocolate Raisinets because then you do a bite of the popcorn with the chocolate. I love that. Or Sour Patch Kids.
I'm trying to eat healthier stuff, but I give a pass for the movies.
Yeah, the movies don't count.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for today. We covered a lot of topics, so we're going to go out and watch some football tonight. Preseason football, for those who do gamble, I advise against it because the best players may only play 1 quarter, if that. And who the hell knows what's going to happen? I advise you not to gamble, period.
Yeah.
But if you're going to, don't bet preseason. Okay. Well, another great episode, Morgan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week, folks.